am Hope at Crafty Hope, and I am about to work on the day 8 ICAD. So that means index card a day, and it is a challenge that runs June and July every year. At least it has the last 10 years, maybe more, I don't know. It's the brainchild of Tammy Garcia, who is Daisy Yellow online, or Gypsy999 on Instagram. I will put her links below. Definitely check out the Daisy Yellow site. It explains a lot more about ICAD, how you can participate. Go ahead and play now. I know we're on day 8, or by the time you see this, day 15, 16, I don't know when I'll get this up. So I am taking on several additional challenges for ICAD this year. While ICAD is all about just altering a single either 3x5 or 4x6 index card or something in that range, Tammy gives us daily prompts, weekly themes that are optional to use. My friend Nina Fickett has her own mixed media ICAD prompts that she also shares, which are, you know, if you want to play along with that. I decided this year that to work on my embroidery stitches. So that is my main challenge this year, is to each day try to work on a new to me stitch, just to kind of like increase my stitch vocabulary, get more familiar with the needles, that kind of thing. We're gonna see how it goes. So far, the first 7 days have been, give or take, I think day 2 was iffiest, but my others I've really enjoyed for the most part. I found I don't really care for the split stitch or the back stitch, but there are other stitches. So I've done a lot of outline stitches so far. Today, I think I'm working on the stem stitch, which is another outline stitch. That's just how the book I'm kind of referencing goes through, and some of the others as well that I look at go through. So if you do want to know about the prompts, the Daisy Yellow prompt today is butterfly, and the mixed media ICAD prompt is text and mail. So I think for butterfly, I may put some of butterfly on my card and try to outline it maybe with the stem stitch. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it strictly on my card, or if I haven't completely decided. So I really probably shouldn't have turned this camera on. The text and mail, that threw me a bit. I'm not sure what Nina's looking for that. I don't keep a lot of junk mail. And so I found in like a bill, this is just like a receipt that's got disclosure, not receipt. It's a thing that's got like disclosures, and it's from the mail. So I may possibly put that down on here. I don't know, maybe put some strips of it, something, I don't know. I'm gonna put it on there, I guess. Okay, but I'm gonna work on my stem stitch, try to include a butterfly and text and mail, and vlog some of this. So many things. Okay, let me get to it. All right, well, that was not as fun as I had. No, it was fine. I think I got the hang of it the more I did it. What I did was this, and so I drew a butterfly image for that Daisy Yellow prompt, and did one side on the fabric inside the hoop. I think I got a video of that, and then one side, and then the same side on the paper, and that way I got a hang of both before I did the bottom. And the bottom, I think, came out a little bit better than the top. I started widening the stitches. You can see this is the first one I did, and the stitches are super close together and like not as like flowy and pretty as these others are. So I definitely think I got a better hang of it, and that's kind of the point of this. So I did, like I said, I did a butterfly for text and mail. I don't know if you can see it, some of the text in here that I just glued down and threw some acrylic ink on, and gesso, and yeah, but I made a butterfly and did my stem stitch. So that's good. We'll see. I hadn't even looked at tomorrow's. I'm gonna not stress about it today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay, it is June 9th. I think think that's right, Friday, June 9th. So it's the 9th day of ICAD. I messed up yesterday, y'all. When I did my stem stitch yesterday, I don't think I completely understood it, and I didn't look at the instructions thoroughly, and I just kind of was like, oh, I got this, and went for it. And yeah, it should have been more in a straight line. I should have been going back through. So what I did instead was a variation of a stem stitch at an angle. So it is a variation, is a type of stem stitch, but it wasn't the one I was supposed to be doing. So I looked at a couple of my other books just to kind of get a better feel of what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm hoping I can get it right today. We will see. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it right today. It is most often used for threads that you can't break down, or often, so like things that, like I have this one, I don't know if you can see it, that the thread is, or the floss is twisted and isn't like traditional floss like this that you would take apart, like you could split down. So because it's like basically a variation on the split stitch. So lesson for us all there. Okay, so today's prompts from Daisy Yellow, it's magenta or fuchsia. So as you can see, I've pulled out some magenta fuchsia-ish colors. And then the Mixed Media ICAD prompt from Nina is bookbinding. So I have all of these bits and pieces of a book spine for bookbinding. So I will try to stitch some of those down, maybe one of these like bigger pieces like this. We'll see, because where's the fabric? I have this fabric that was a little bit left over from yesterday, and I don't know how I feel about it on top of that. So I may go find a different fabric that it shows up better on. Yeah. So that's it. I'm gonna go to it. By Jove, I think I got it. I think I figured out the stem stitch. Woo, I hope. That's supposed to be an easy stitch. And y'all, this is why I'm doing this, is to try to get those all worked out and figured and everything. So I ended up, if you saw that video, just, I don't know which way to point, then you saw I did not use the fuchsia thread. Once I decided on the fabric I was going to back and the that piece of bookbinding, I was like, oh, fuchsia's just going to be such a clash on that. I want something, so I went with the brown. I did put fuchsia in splatters on it, so you can see the fuchsia is there. And y'all, I really love this. I'm gonna try to go flatten it some. I think my biggest problem was my crackle paste, I think, is going bad. It has an odor, and I had to scrape out some like moldy looking stuff from it, so it may be time to order some new crackle paste, which is sad because I haven't, you know, that jar is probably half full, so shoot. But anyway, I've got the stem stitch down. Yay! All right, guys, I will see y'all tomorrow. It is Saturday, June 10th. Yeah. And what am I going to do? I'm working a little bit early today. I've got a party to go to in a couple hours, so I'm trying to knock this out. But today I'm going to work on the cable stitch, which is a lot like the stem stitch I did yesterday, but instead of bringing the needle continuously over on one side of the thread, you alternate. Does that make sense? Like, here's the thread and you come up, and then the next time you go on that side, allegedly. So we'll see how that works. So that's my plan. The Daisy Yellow prompt is signpost, and the Mixed Media ICAD prompt is joy. So I kind of have a general idea. I have gessoed this. I might add, I don't know, something to it. I kind of maybe put some blue paint or ink or something on it. So I may do that and let that dry. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I may let that dry, but I have a general idea. We'll see if it works out. Things may go awry. You never know. We'll see. I'm gonna get to it. So that went pretty much as I expected. I wasn't really sure what I was gonna make it. Found that with the, what did I say, the cable stitch, corners and points were wonky, and since I was doing a signpost, those are a little wonky, but that's okay. I learned by the time I got to the last one, I was like, oh, so that's what this is about. So I made this card. I did it vertically because it is a signpost. I want to give myself plenty of space for it. I had mentioned what this is, like a woven one like I talked about yesterday that I ended up not using, which I figured was probably just as good for the cable stitch as a stem stitch. And then I used just some black regular embroidery floss for the actual signpost that's kind of lost in the background. So yeah, it's done. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna go have some lunch and get ready for the party. I also wanted to mention that I used, for the words in the peace sign, I used a fabric marker from the Dollar Tree. I kept going back and forth what I was going to use, but then I remembered I had some fabric markers from the Dollar Tree, so I just used that. Probably an alcohol marker or something like that would work just as fine. And I did find I had to do the back stitch. I think I mentioned that the corners were all kind of weird, so I had to do, I missed these. Okay, I had to do the back stitch and like some of the corners when I started figuring it out. So, and that made things a little bit neater. So, okay, I might give you looks. It is day 11, so it's June 11th, Sunday. I am fairly exhausted. The party yesterday took it out of me. It was hot. It was more humid. It was in the upper mid 80s, but the humidity had to have been like 98%. It could have been worse. We were on the water, we were on the bay, Mobile Bay, and there was a little bit of a breeze, and we had lots of fans and cold water and things like that for the party, but it was just warm. It was really warm, and I was, other than the person who was hosting it, I was the first one there and the last one to leave, so took it out on me. So I'm gonna try to take it easy today. We are gonna get in the pool in a little bit. But let's see. So today I am going to work on couching stitch. I don't know if you call it stitch, but it's couching. It's where you stitch over some threads that are laid out. It's kind of just a decorative element, or you can go over something that you previously stitched with couching stitches to make them stand out more. That's my understanding of it. It's generally an outline stitch like most of these that I have done lately. So I'm going to try this. I am having trouble reconciling it with the other two prompts. So the Daisy Yellow prompt today is glyph, which from my understanding is just any kind of symbol that represents something else. So like a letter in itself is considered a glyph because it's basically a symbol. So I feel bad because yesterday I did the peace sign and I suppose that would be considered a glyph of some sort. But, so there's that. And I'm going to be kind of inspired by that to just do some like line work and kind of thing, because it is the couching. But the mixed media ICAD prompt is joint compound, which is a very textural element. It's, you get it at the hardware store. And I used to have some, but I think it dried up or something. So I've got something similar, which is I've got it written plaster, something that I've mixed up, which is some spackle, light spackle from the Dollar Tree, some plaster of Paris, and some white gesso as the like liquid element, and mix that all up into this like paste. I can make it as thick or as thin as I want, and I just put it, you know, in an old container, and when it goes bad, I throw it all out. So it's just, you know, kind of a textural pasty element. And since I don't have joint compound, that's what I'm going to use if I use it. Like I said, I haven't quite been able to reconcile it with my stitching and the glyph and all of that. So we'll see where I go. I haven't picked out threads. I think I'm going to use some of the threads that I have that are still on needles and just kind of play with that. We'll see. That was super enjoyable. I really enjoyed that. I like my results. I'm pretty happy with this. I do want to mention that with couching, it can be done with like you know, like yarns or strips of fabric or something like that to give you more bulk if that's what you want as an accent. So it doesn't have to be just done with embroidery floss. So if you saw mine, you could kind of see the design that I was doing. It's super great, y'all. It was really just like meditative to do that stitch and not have to think like some of those previous stitches I've been having to do, like, okay, now I gotta go, like yesterday's oh gosh, now I can't think what it was called. That's awful. Cable stitch. You had to go like up and then down, and then I had to remember, okay, the last, and it was, you know, it's fine. I don't see how I'll ever use that, but this I'll use. So I did end up using the joint compound on the card just as a background, and I did not stitch on the card at all, though I could, but I think it would be a lot of the same method that I did on the fabric. You could see I put it in the hoop, which was very enjoyable. I think if I tried to do that on loose fabric, it would have been frustrating. So in the hoop, it was really enjoyable. So I made this card. It's a bit of nonsense, yes. I'm not sure that this is any kind of glyph other than, you know, it's a glyph that means, hey, I enjoyed couching. How about that? So yeah, but I put that joint compound down, some inks, did a little like dry brushing with my finger over the top of the inks, stuck this down, put some words on it. I mean, the card itself is like whatever, but all the things I did, the couching, the joint compound, the accenting it, all of that, I really enjoyed. So that is day 11. Now I am going to have some lunch and get ready to go get in the pool, I suppose. I hope y'all are having a good weekend. See you tomorrow. It is Monday, June 12th, so it is the 12th day of ICAD. My stitch, well, we just finished lunch and I've been trying to think on these prompts and stitches all day, and I don't have much, so we're gonna still experiment. We're gonna see what happens. My stitch today is the purl stitch, which is some kind of like a knotting stitch. It's marked in my stitch sampler as an intermediate stitch, so it's the first intermediate stitch that I have happened upon. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, it's kind of a knotted stitch. It didn't seem super hard, but you know, that's me saying it before I try it. So the other two prompts, or the two regular prompts, the Daisy Yellow prompt is Moonlight, and I just can't reconcile that. I keep coming up with, what song is that? By the Light of the Silvery Moon. And I don't think that's the name of the song. I want to swoon. I can't come up with the name of the song. But yeah, the light of the silvery moon. So I have some silver embroidery floss. This is the Diamondette from DMC. Diamant? I don't know. This. You see that at all? Yeah. So I keep thinking silvery moon by the light of the silvery moon. So moonlight, silver. So that is that idea. Then the mixed media ICAD prompt from Nina is lime green. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do my floss in lime green, or maybe I'll paint my card lime green. I finally just started going at, because I needed fabric for this. And so I remembered I had some fabric I had dyed, probably with, I don't even know, sprays or inks, or I don't know. I think it was part of the C. Sarah Stitch, one of her classes that I took. So yeah, so I've got lots of different color dyed fabrics, and I thought this could be a great way to use it. So I am somehow going to incorporate my pearl stitch, moonlight, and lime green. So yeah, we'll see what happens. That was not fun. That took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. The stitch never quite looked right with the silver thread. I think it's too thin and not full enough to really kind of fill out for a decorative stitch. So I did try it with both a black and a green six strands of regular embroidery floss, and it looks better. I personally can't think of a time that I would use it. I mean, I might. It could be something just interesting, but it wasn't like simple or fun. I mean, granted, it's an intermediate stitch, and granted, I may have been doing it wrong. I don't think so. I'll go check some of my other embroidery books, but I tried to do that before I started on this, and only one of my other 3 had it in there. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So this is the card I created. So for moonlight, I did use the silver thread, and there's some silver paint in the background here, and then lime green's kind of all over the place. I've got the fabric, and then the little bit of stitching here, and then I use this Lindy's flat, I don't know, flat spray in luscious lime. So I've got kind of lime all over, and I use the quote, "Stay kind," and that's to remind myself to be kind to myself just as well as to everybody else, because it's the first time I'm doing these things. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the most beautiful thing, and I don't need to stress about that. So I hope you remember that too, to stay kind to yourself, that if you're trying something new, it's not going to be perfect. You know, everybody's got a first time doing something, and it's not going to be phenomenal. So I'm going to stay kind to me, you stay kind to you, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hello, it is day 13. It's Tuesday, June 13th. So it's the 13th day of ICAD. Yeah, what am I working on today? It is a weird stitch that I know is going to give me fits. I'm going to have to reference my book to kind of follow it along. It is called a coral stitch, also known as a knotted stitch, snail trail, which I really love, or a beaded stitch. So it's another like knotted one like that pearl one was yesterday, but this one is marked easy. So hopefully it's not as crazy. It is recommended that it is used with a thick non-stranded thread, which, yeah, that's what I should have tried to use yesterday as well, because I'm just now like noticing some of the notation. So I do have, I'll show you in just a second. The other prompts today are, for Daisy Yellow, is Superstition, And as soon as I saw that, I remembered I have this little quote chip from Tim Holtz that says lucky on it. And I think that's the only way I'm gonna bring in superstition, because, you know, what is more superstitious than, you know, being lucky or unlucky? The Mix Me ICAD prompt today is zebra, which is tough because I think the first Daisy Yellow prompt was zebra or striped, or one of them was, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with that, but I decided I'm kind of just going to use that as almost like a color idea, because when you think of zebras, you think of black and white, right? So I'm doing that in that the non-stranded thread that I'm using is this, I don't know where to put this, is this thread. So you can see it's kind of that, I'm trying to see, can I get it to focus? I don't know if it's focusing or not. Is this thread, which isn't black and white per se, but black and gray. So it's the closest I have to a black and white, and it's the zebra prompt is what drew me to do this. So I just have to use it as inspiration, right? Right. So I have put some fabric. This is some fabric I have dyed before in my embroidery hoop, because I am finding more and more that working in the embroidery hoop is really more pleasant than trying to do it on some floppy thread. And we'll see if I do anything on the card. I'm not sure yet. All I've done to it so far is just added some gesso. So I'm gonna let it sit aside and dry while I try to figure out the squirrel stitch or snail trail stitch. Oh, that would be fun to make a snail. Yeah, okay, it's too much. I'm gonna get to it. With that, it was a little tricky at start. I did have to like unthread it at one point at the very beginning, because what I was seeing in the book and the way it was being described were different. So I kind of like read through it step by step and kind of followed it exactly. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. It is very much like making a knot. You do have to be very specific about where the thread is and where the needle is. And you know, like I said, I had to take it undone once or twice. It was easy enough to do. If you don't do it right, it's not a knot. So it's easy enough to unwrap it. So I made this. The only thing I did put the stitching on is the fabric again. I just didn't think it was gonna be a whole lot different on the card than it was on the fabric, especially in the embroidery hoop. So I did 2 lines up, 2 lines below. I put my little lucky there, and because I felt like I don't know, the word lucky kept me thinking of lucky stars. I don't know why. And I was like, you know, like count your lucky stars or whatever. So, or wishing on a lucky star, I don't know. So I kind of went with that, and sprayed the background with, what did I spray it with? Some of this Enchanted Mariner, and where'd it go? I don't know where it went. Oh, it's a Heidi Swapp black. Here it is. Put it back where it goes. Color Shine. Just to kind of give a, since I knew it was going with the star, I wanted kind of a nighttime scene, and I thought that was great with this pinky fabric. Kind of makes everything pop. And then I added more stars that I sewed on just with the embroidery floss. So, and of course some gold splatter. My favorite Liquitex gold ink splatter on there. Can you see it? Anyway, I'm happy with that one. It reminds me, you know, it has all those names I read to you, but it really reminds me of like barbed wire somehow. And I'm sure there's probably some other stitch that'll evoke that just as well, but there was something about it, about like line and little squiggly and line and little squiggly line. Very much, very much barbed wire-ish. So, all right. I'm gonna give y'all some pictures, and we'll see what day is today. Today is the 13th, so tomorrow will be my last day for this week. So we'll see. Oh my goodness, it is the last day of week 2. What? Yeah. So welcome to day 14 of ICAD, which is Wednesday, June 14th. I am working on the double knot stitch today. So it is also, it's another intermediate stitch. So we'll see. But after enjoying the coral knot yesterday, I think I might be able to do this one again if I follow the directions exactly in my book and get the hang of it. So I'm hoping to do that. We'll see. It looks a little tricky. It's not quite as straightforward of a knot as the coral was yesterday. So this is another one that says to use a non-stranded embroidery thread, and I think that's just so that when you're making your knot, you're not like going through pulling the individual threads. That is what is, yeah, making sense to me. So that is the oh no, I think I just dropped something. Oh, my bookmark. It'll be okay. I'll get it in a second. I've got my fabric in a hoop. I've drawn like a little wonky box here that I think I'm going to try to maybe trace for my stitch. We'll see how that goes. So the prompts for today, the daisy yellow prompt is typewriter, and you can see my card has some typewritten stuff on it. It's because I'm reusing this card I got, and it's a great, it's Doris Day, which is fabulous. But I think I'm going to probably end up covering it up and maybe typing something on my own typewriter to put inside my little box here. Maybe I'll stamp an image of a typewriter. I don't know yet. The mixed media ICAD prompt is crochet / knitting, and I could not figure out how to work that with embroidery and typewriter and everything else. So what I ended up, it hit me while I was actually talking to Nina, was that I have this old Needlecraft, Good Housekeeping Needlecraft magazine from 1971, 72-ish. And so I just kind of flipped through it real quick and found these in it, which are some instructions on knitting. You see that? So I think I'm gonna collage that down on my card. And this is a neat paper and it's aged. I'm gonna go ahead and tear it out. Ooh, that tore kind of funny. That's okay. So I think I'm gonna collage that on my card, and while that's drying, work on my stitch. I am using, like I said, a non-stranded one, so it's like that twisted one that I've used before. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Kind of fun. As soon as I started doing that double knot stitch, it reminded me of pom-poms, and since I was doing it in a fuchsia or magenta or whatever color, I kind of wanted other bright colors, so I ended up bringing in these, and it added a party feel. So I did splatters on my card, and I've got the prompts, but I don't know, you know, I used that knitting page, but it's like way in the background. And for typewriter, I have some of the same card because I had a big stack of them that I had cut different phrases out of. So since it was typewritten, I kind of just put that on there. But the stitch, can you see like the pom-pom type feel to it? It just felt so festive. I don't know, I had to make it additionally festive. So, and I did do it on the card and on the paper. I was trying to make sure with the paper, because you have to do 2 holes or 2 pull-throughs fairly close to one another, that I didn't tear the paper when I did it. So that was a big thing. But it's a cute card. It's I don't know, it feels like a party to me, and that's why I chose that little phrase that says that's what life's all about. I don't know, isn't that the hokey pokey? So, all right, I am happy with that. That ends out this week of ICAD stitches, which is the hashtag that I am using. So definitely go check that out if you want to get better looks at these, if the video is not getting it or whatever. Again, let me know if you're enjoying this ICAD series. I'm gonna keep trying at it, because I'm hoping maybe by the end of it I'm comfortable enough to maybe do more like looks in my studio and other things that I'm doing besides ICADs. So we'll see. I hope y'all have had a fabulous week, and let's see what next week holds. See you later. Bye.